Welcome to another episode of Brothers, Battles, and Bounty, where family, business, and your journey to success converge. We're very excited about this episode today because we have a special guest. And when I say special, I want to emphasize very special. Today, we have Katarina Fesser, aka Kate, who has been around before the founding of the company and during the founding and is still around. She happens to be the wife of the founder, Tony Fesser. We're very proud of having her. We are four sons and your hosts. I'm Andreas.
I'm Stefan.
I'm Anton.
And I'm Martin.
Yes. So.
And I'm Kate.
Yes.
Nice.
So we wanted to start out, first of all, introducing Mom. She's obviously raised the four of us, and I think we turned out halfway decent, from,
Sure.
most of us, right. And I wanted to just ask you, Mom, is there anything you wanted to say to start off what you think or about everything going on here?
Well, first of all, I want to do that.
Okay.
I want to thank all you four boys. How you're doing. Never in my life I thought I'd be here today with 92, but I am proud of you since Opie's gone. What she did in the factory and handling it, it's amazing. I never said nothing to any of you, but to me, it meant a lot. I cry a lot, and I pray a lot, and I'm happy a lot. And my family, you boys are my kids. Your wives are my kids. They're my kids. And the grandkids, the granddaughter and grandson, I am proud of them and blessed to have you all. And they're all always were nice to me. I will never forget as long as I live. And that meant a lot. I never said nothing but to my thought, but I talked to Opie a lot.
Love it. So Mom, we were in a previous episode, we're talking about when Dad was interested in buying the business. And we talked about the experience that you two had, but what was it like from your standpoint when he mentioned to you he's interested in buying a business? Do you remember anything about that?
Yes, he wanted to know, and he had a place he saw. In how he found it, I don't remember no more.
Yeah.
Which one, the Trendler or this Trendler?
When he first, what I'm referring to is when he decided to go look at the business.
Oh.
And I think you guys had plans or something. I don't remember the story.
Yes.
How did that go?
Well, it worked out pretty good. We were lucky. Opie saw something in the paper, and it was on a Friday, and he says, Ma, you and I got to go and see the factory. I'd like to buy. If he get it, he don't know. And I said, you can't go on a Friday. You got to take me grocery shopping. And he says, no, this is first because that's business I want.
Yeah.
And I said, so he went. I didn't go. I was mad. I was mad with him a whole week. I finally made up, but it bothered me. He went for the factory, not grocery shopping.
Yeah, that's how I remember that story. Yeah, well,
But when you guys were already established here in Chicago,
Yes.
but you came from Europe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, how
From
old were you?
Yugoslavia, and we went to Europe. That threw us out because we were German.
Yeah.
That threw all the Germans out.
And then you came
We
to the United
winded
States.
up in Austria.
And then you came to the States.
Yes.
how old were you when you came to the United States?
I think 10, 9 or 10.
No, how old were you?
Yeah.
When you came to the
United
U.S.
States.
Oh, to America.
America,
I'm
sorry, yes.
Oh, how old was I? Well, 18, say 19 or
Yeah,
around 19 or 20. He was already born.
he was a little
Yeah.
baby.
6 months old.
Did you want to
Yeah.
come to America?
Opie.
But did you?
Well, I didn't care. Whatever he want, I want. I didn't know nothing.
Except
so
the business
I
shop, the
accepted
grocery
it.
shop.
I
right?
accepted it. Do what he wants to do.
So
Yeah. What-
I'm curious. A question I have: when you went to buy the business, where were you guys going to get the money to buy a business?
That was the hard part. We had some money, but not as much as he wanted for the business. He
Okay.
wanted when he saw it, it was in the paper, Opie. He went. He left me at home. He wouldn't take me shopping. So,
And so how
and-
did you come up with the money, like Steve's saying?
well, I tell you, Tony Trendler. It's his name, Trendler.
Yeah.
The
The
guy-
seller of the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, the seller of the business. Yeah.
Yes, who gave it to us. He said, Tony, we didn't have much money, and Opie wanted that factory
Yeah.
because it wasn't big and
Yeah,
was
yeah.
perfect. And he said, the name of the guy we bought it was Tony too. My Tony said, Mr. Trendler, I would appreciate, I hope I get what I'm looking for today. And Mr. Trendler said to him, Tony, I can see you're anxious. I make sure you get it.
Hmm.
So then a week later, we got together. There was money problem. We didn't have much money. Tony Trendler said, Tony, I can see you're anxious. You wanted that you would do things what I see or feel like. I give it to you for a good price, and you don't pay me till you can pay.
So it was owner finance.
Seller
Yes.
finance.
Seller
finance.
finance. Yeah. Wow.
Yes, and that's why Tony Trendler meant a lot. And he
Yeah.
said, Tony, I do that for you. Would you do something for me? Tony said, if I can. He said, would you keep my name, Tony Trendler, and your business, what you're opening up? And
Wow.
Tony said, anything for you, you help me, I help you.
You
And
do
he
seller
did it.
financing. We'll call it whatever you want to call
Oh,
it.
he just wanted it very bad.
Right.
Yeah, he was ambitious
that
and
was
really.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
I think what I'm hearing you say, Mom, is that Tony Trendler saw that Dad was an ambitious
Mhm.
business guy, young business guy who needed assistance.
Yes.
And Tony Trendler wanted the legacy of his name and his
Amen.
business to stay, which we've kept the name Trendler ever since then
It's
for
that-
that
Yeah.
For that
reason
reason.
and
How
that
long
agreement.
ago was that, roughly?
1962?
Well,
19, yeah.
Trendler was established in 1932.
32.
32.
But
Right.
Dad
And
bought
Dad
the
bought it.
business in 1960.
I
1962.
wouldn't say.
Yeah.
I forgot all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's awesome.
And we've built it into one of the world's
Wow.
privately held swivel manufacturers, chair and bar stool manufacturers,
And Swedish.
largest in North America to this day.
That's
And
awesome.
for everyone that's listening, our dad goes by several different names. Opie is one of them.
From the family.
Tony is another one.
Yeah.
So as we're talking, you're going to
Mostly.
hear, Opie,
gonna
Tony,
hear- yeah.
just. But that's our dad.
And not to be confused with Tony Trendler, as
Right.
who we bought the business. My mom and
Right.
dad bought the business from.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great
Correct.
clarification.
Clarification.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mom, in regard to your experiences with the company, do you recall the beginnings of when you first started working and how all that happened? Can you share any stories about where you worked before and then working?
Well, I worked in a factory, and they made cabinets almost like here. No swivels, but cabinets, but steel. I was a spot welder when I started working for them for years. And I did spot welding and all kinds of things, but all day and for weeks and years while I worked there.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I loved it. And all of a sudden, when Opie found something, he looked already before, but he never found anything
So Opie worked at the same factory that you worked.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
and his mother.
Okay.
What did Opie do at the
He
factory?
was the main guy like here.
Plant supervisor.
No, what do you call it?
A foreman.
Foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Foreman.
I couldn't say it. See?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he supervise you?
Oh, yeah. He didn't have to. I did my job. Yes. I like spot welding, and I did a lot. And
What other, you did other things other than spot
yeah.
welding, right? You ran a
notching and
punch press.
Oh,
work?
yeah, anything. But the spot welding at Philip, where we start, was my main work every day.
So then, what I'm wanted to hear more about. That's fascinating. Your
Yeah.
experience as a spot welder. That's amazing. Really, for me, it's great to hear. So then, you bought the business. You still worked at the other company.
I worked for a while, and I want to stay because we need the money.
Yeah.
But they fired me
Why did they fire you?
because they thought I'd stay and watch them and tell Opie about it. That he can do it.
Oh, a
Plans.
spy.
A spy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
serious? I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
really?
God! I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Are you sure?
Yes, I never
Well,
heard you say that.
No,
So how did he communicate? How did Philip communicate that you were fired?
he called me in the office, the boss, and I thought, why would he call me? And he said, Kate. They didn't call me Mrs. Fesser. Kate, we were close. He said, I gotta lay you off. I said, what? What did I do wrong here? He said, well, first of all, you're working here. You see what we're doing. And your husband is going to ask you what's going on here, and you tell him. Like I'm staying, listening, or watching, and tell my husband.
Yeah.
How many years were you working there when they let you go?
By Philip, quite a while. Quite a
10?
while. I not tell you the years. I
Okay.
can't.
Well,
I don't.
they
10
came here in
years.
'51.
Yeah.
I
You
don't.
came to America in '51.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been about 9 years, 10 years.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. How'd that make you feel? Were
Well,
you mad?
First, I said, Mr. Philip, I shouldn't call you Mr., but okay. Why would you fire me after all the years I'm working for you? Did I do anything wrong? I never took nothing. You tell me. He goes, you're a good worker, but we can't keep you here. You're watching and tell your husband what's going on
Oh
here.
wow.
Because he did the same thing like we did.
So
Ended up
you,
being competitors.
Whatever you call it.
so you
yeah.
didn't tell him like take this job and shove it or anything.
No,
No.
no.
Okay, yeah.
I
Right.
cried, and he said, don't worry, we take care of you. You don't have to work forever. They
Yeah.
paid me good and
Yeah.
everything.
So he.
They gave you a severance. I mean, did they pay you when you
Mhm.
left?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So then, when you then got fired, okay, did you look for another job?
Well, I did house cleaning even while I had the factory work.
Yeah.
And
Did you go work for the factory
for,
or Opie?
oh God, when he started right away,
Yeah. So
Oh,
did you
yeah.
have young kids?
I had my kids, but I put him in a nursery with nuns.
With
Oh, that was
none?
no, that was that was DePaul. DePaul.
okay.
That was when I was a little kid. That was before all this
Oh.
and everything. But you had Andy in the crib next to you.
That was Marty, not Andy. He was
Oh.
the
Yeah, what's the
See?
matter with you?
Oh, okay.
No,
All right.
Want a
no.
fresh one?
That was Marty.
So what happened? You were working on a press?
Punch press.
Punch press making swivels,
Yeah.
and that's my main work, and I like to do it.
And you
know.
had a kid with you there?
I took my I said, Tony, I help you, but I'm gonna have Marty with me.
Yeah.
I had you in a nursery, and I thought, I don't know, he's too small. And I took the playpen, put it next to the machine, little farther than that's the machine, so I can see if he wakes up, what he does. And then one day the carton guy comes, who sells us the carton. He said, Mrs. Fesser, what are you doing with your baby here? I
Teaching
said,
them.
I said, what am I doing? You see what I'm doing. I'm working. Do you have to have it? I said, I help my husband and I make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
Future entrepreneur
Yeah.
in training.
Yeah. Well, you became the engineer. So
yeah.
watching all that and
All the
observing
metal
all that,
stamping.
all the
Did-
stamping and all that.
I'm
Wow,
curious.
it
So
worked.
did Opie pay you
you
same more
kidding?
or less
No.
than what?
No, no.
What was the arrangement?
I got what he gave me money to buy groceries and take care
Wow,
of things.
nice.
Wow, bonus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Wow. Fantastic.
And then
Interesting.
Saturdays I worked for a lady for years too, and she paid me good. So
Yeah.
we did okay. And I not regret what I did. I would do it over again.
Well, you remember Dad.
Yeah.
He worked 6 days a week. Okay. And how did you feel about we would take one vacation a year? And that was over Labor Day. We had 3 days that we went down to Effingham, Illinois. We did that for 10, 11 years. How did you cope with that? How did you feel about that?
I felt very good about it. To be away, to have a good time instead of working.
Yeah.
It was my doing, and whatever he knew, I like it.
But you
Yeah.
would just stay at the hotel, right? We'd
Yeah.
go hunting and you would just.
Yeah, it
We go
doesn't
duck
bother
hunting.
me. I
Yeah.
was just happy what I saw. Then when you went with Opie hunting and things, I was happy. You kids are happy. I thought anything,
Yeah.
I do it, and I never regret anything
Nice.
what I did.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
we had a good
The-
time.
As things kind of progressed, you told the one story. I think it's interesting to share with everyone. Opie asked you to go in the office to answer the phone or to help with
Yeah.
the office.
Secretary, right? The
That
Tell that
was-
story.
Okay. When we start the factory, I think it's this one. Yeah,
Yep.
not the other one.
Okay.
And it's a big, I said, it's a big place. Ooh. I was like proud. And I said, wow, Trendler, Tony was nice to help us out to get that. Talk to Tony about that. And he said, yeah, but let's hope you do okay in here. I said, you could talk a little nicer. I try. I am not an office person. I'm a machine worker. And he goes, you'll be okay. You talk, you're okay.
So he put you in the office.
Yes. And so the first customer who called, it was in the morning. And I thought, oh boy, so I'm talking and he's talking to me. And I said, excuse me, what does that mean you just told me? I thought, I'm not a business person about that. And he goes, well, you're working there, you should know what I'm saying. And I go, sir, would you repeat it? And he repeated, and I thought, I said, well, I tell Tony about it, what she told me. Oh, okay. So have a nice day, lady. Hangs up. And I called Tony. I thought it's important. I didn't talk much. I said, Dad, I got his number and his name. I wrote everything down. Would you call this guy? Because he's interested in business. I don't know what. What did you tell him? I said, well, nothing. I don't know what to tell him. So he goes, he calls him, and the guy goes, who in the heck do you have in your office? And Tony goes, my wife? And I go, what are you talking about me now to? And he goes, so I just sit up. He hung up, and I said, you know what? That's the last minute and time I'm staying in the office. Put me on the machine, I get you work out.
That's funny.
I goof up your customers or anything.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny.
And I did. And he said, Ma, you're my wife. I said, don't worry who I am to you.
Yeah.
I work in the
Yeah.
machine.
That's a great.
Nice. That's
great
a
The
good
story.
other the other story that's pretty good is when you first went out to dinner. with a customer.
Yeah.
You, Dad, the customer went out.
So little background. You remember
I should,
it was Bozoff and Metter. They were one of the largest boat marine aftermarket companies in Mississippi. And Tom Metter was about 6'4", big guy, sales guy, who went out to dinner with Dad and Mom, and he loved his martinis. So anyways, with that being said, what do you remember of the
oh
dinner?
my God, a lot about him. We went, it was in Oakland. We went to this restaurant and I start drinking martini. And when the guy drank, I had one. The guy drank fast. And I thought, I better slow down. So when he ordered the second, I still had some. I tried to keep up with him. And all of a sudden, we ate, we talked, we had a good time. I got looped. The first time ever. And when the guy left, I didn't stand up. I thought I didn't want to fall over. I said, goodbye, nice to meet you, and talking. And then Dad said, Ma, that wasn't nice. I said, Dad, I can't get up. I might fall. He goes, I tried to stop you. You're drinking too much. I wanted to please him. He's a nice guy. And that was my first and my last time I ever did it like
That was
that.
martinis you were drinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
that's a great.
Was
that's a
it
great one.
martini or the Manhattan? I
Yeah,
had both of
martini.
them.
Maybe a little of both.
Maybe a little of
Maybe.
Little
whatever,
chaser.
not the
Yeah, little
one of those.
chaser.
That's Petey. That was Petey's Pub in Oakland, and it's still there.
Is it? Was it?
It's
Petey's
still
Pub, really?
there?
Petey's Pub.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
That's
Petey.
fantastic.
Wow.
Petey's
I didn't know
Pub.
that.
So, how about as the company started growing, we started focusing on marketing, and one of the marketing strategies we did was going to the trade shows. We went all over the country,
Yeah,
and
Different trade
Canada.
shows.
Oh, my
And so,
God.
do you remember attending any of the trade shows?
Oh,
at all?
God, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know where that was.
It was Atlanta. I think it was in Atlanta.
It was
Atlanta's
about,
Atlanta.
Which story are you going to tell? I don't know.
I'm going to say about the way I had to talk. Oh,
Dr. Ruth?
you.
Yeah.
I helped you with the cabinets. Remember the night
Mom would
before?
help us set up the booths all the time. She was very good
Yeah.
at setting up
Before
pre-show.
pre-show,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right.
And when we had, then remember the girl who cleaned the floor?
Yes, there was a janitor who was
What
vacuuming
she
the
say
carpet.
about the
Okay.
She said something, jumped over.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she was
Mrs.
excited.
Ruth.
Yeah.
You're Mrs. Ruth?
Doctor. Okay.
Dr.
Little,
Ruth.
little background.
Yeah.
1989, August,
Is that okay?
Anaheim,
Absolutely,
California, at the Woodworking and Supplier Show. Okay, we would do 6 or 8 of these a year. The Anaheim show was the big show. I mean,
Right.
it was the international show. And Mom and I were there, like we always would,
Set
be at
up
the show,
everything.
setting up. And they were cleaning up pre-show, vacuuming the carpet right in front of our booth.
Mhm.
And Mom and I were talking back and forth. And the gal looks over. I mean, her enthusiasm and excitement, she, like you explained, she jumped into the booth and she goes, "Excuse me, are you Dr. Ruth?"
Yeah.
And I'm looking and I'm saying,
You
"Why,
were
yeah."
up on the ladder. I
I-
still see you.
I was on the ladder and she goes, "Steve, the lady's asking a question, who's Dr. Ruth?" I go, "Yeah, this is Dr. Ruth. She's here as to help us with our show to draw."
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
okay. Oh my gosh, you're Dr. Ruth. Oh, thank you so much. It's nice to meet you. She was like so excited.
Yeah.
Does anybody
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like a background?
Does
from
somebody know who
Ruth?
Dr. Ruth is?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
she
can-
was a
Sex therapist
sex
in the
therapist.
80s.
Famous
A German, Jewish sex therapist from
And I'm
Hungary.
German.
Her accent and her size and her
And
look.
she was older. She was like in
Same
her,
age. They're a
Same
year
thing.
apart.
oh,
Yeah.
same age.
Mom
And
is
they're like a doppelganger. They looked the
Yeah.
same, they
Talk-
sounded the same, they talked the same, except no sex therapy expertise.
Anyway,
at least
so-
well,
so-
actually, there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
It does have some-
Anyway,
Be careful what you ask.
Sorry.
we can edit certain things out, but we probably won't have to. So this is the background, okay? The cleaning gal before you, Dr. Ruth.
I
Yeah, it's
have
Dr. Ruth. She's here
everything.
to help sign autographs and different things. So
At the show.
the show opens. What do you remember happening?
Oh my God. The show opens, the boys sat on the chairs,
Yep.
and I'm walking back and forth. Well, when people come, you took care of them. And all of a sudden, I know one of you boys said, "What's going on?" There was a line of people
Hundreds
outside
of people.
that wanted
to get it.
autograph.
They're
I
booked.
should sign. The first guy was very nice, had a nice book, opened his book, and said, "Would you mind signing your name in here?" I said, "That's your nice book. I don't want to write in your book. I want your name in here." And I did. And I kept doing that almost all day. People wouldn't stop coming.
So we had the most popular booth in the entire trade show. I mean,
Yeah.
it was.
So I will admit, I shamelessly exploited my mother for commercial benefit. And we had the best trade show ever in history of the company. And the lines were every day you signed, I would say, 1,000 books,
I
maybe
don't know.
in that range.
And what would you sign? What did you sign?
Well, she asked him.
Kate?
Yeah, Kate Fesser. And all of a sudden I go, "How long am I doing that? I'm not even the
Yeah.
person I'm supposed to what
Yeah.
that thing."
What you, yeah.
And I said, "Boys," it was at supper time because I went like that. I gotta talk. And we had business people there eat, you know.
Do you remember that a lot of people were asking you questions? And I remember you saying, she goes, "They're asking me these questions.
Yeah.
They're filthy questions."
Yeah.
And she goes, "What am I supposed to say?"
Yeah, and
Poor man.
that's what got me. Boys, it's got to stop. I'm not doing it no more. I'm Kate.
And
No
that was
more
it.
Dr. Ruth. And I still came though, and I thought, now what to do? Just sign my paper, man. Please.
That's a
I
great
did.
story. It goes to show as a family, we work as a team to
Right.
grow the business.
Right. Got to do whatever you got to do, right?
So is there
And
any?
you have a mother, Dr. Ruth.
Right.
There you go.
Wonderful.
That was a great story. Never forget it.
So, is there any closing comments, thoughts? We're kind of, coming to the wrapping up on.
I think mom would be a good, mom, you're, everything we've been through, where we are now, you're seeing everything. You've seen it from
Actually,
the beginning
yeah.
all the way to the
Yeah.
end. And,
Where are you at
and-
now?
Actually, with the interest of time, I would like to close with a question to mom. And this question we've been asking it for years, and we've never got an answer.
Right.
So the question we have for you, mom, is: of the 4 boys,
Mhm.
who's your favorite?
Well, I tell you, boys, I have 4 boys. My grandchildren and great-grandchildren are my favorite.
Aww.
And boys,
Nice.
I love you all the same way, and you're still my boys, and I'm proud of you. How you're doing since Opie isn't here. I've been thinking a lot. I don't know how to put it. Proud, very proud. Or I'm honored to have you as my kids and your family.
So, question I have one question. What do you think Opie would say, or what do you think Opie would think right now of what we're doing here?
Well, I talk to him almost every day. He's going to be surprised what I tell him today. He was always saying, he's not a much talker about work. You work and that's it, okay? And I always said, Dad, how is business going? He says, Mom, we're doing okay. I'm glad you did what you did after all the years, but you made me stop doing it. You kept saying because you start working on the machine, putting things together and like notched or spot weld or whatever. And you said, Ma, you gotta quit. I said, why should I quit? What am I doing wrong here? You kept after me that I quit and I didn't want to. And finally I said, I think you're gonna win. I stopped.
Yeah.
I know how long it took, but I know. But you pushed a lot. Yes.
Nice.
Everything, you know, that I've gotten, it comes from you. You know, everything that we've got here has got a lot to do with you
Yeah, I would agree.
And
Yeah.
Dad,
and
You
Dad.
guys.
But you know,
You two supporting us, and you two taking care of us,
Taking
giving
the
us
risks.
opportunities. The risks,
Yep.
yeah.
We wouldn't
I-
be sitting here today
Nope.
without all the history that you spoke of. The
Did I
trip-
do okay? I
you
tried.
did very good.
So-
Coming from Europe,
And having the experience
Yeah.
with Dr. Ruth got us all four
Yes.
here too. So.
that
The-
launched us.
the-
Right.
so Dad might have hurt your feelings by telling you he didn't want you working on the punch press anymore, but he had a little bit of pride and he loved
Yeah.
you. He wanted you to be, enjoy life
you
more
guys
as you came
talked
from
to
a
him
hard
about
place.
it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But
No, I-
good.
Really appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah.
But
Mom.
I tell
Thank
you, I'm not an office person, paperwork, no. Machinery work, anything you give me, spot welding, notching, or
Well,
whatever.
we may have
We've got
something
some,
for you
yeah.
downstairs
Yeah.
We got
before
a
you go
couple
home
of
today.
things, yeah.
We'll have
See if
to
you
see.
still got it.
Talk to
Can you
Juan.
give her a
Yeah.
test? Make sure
I
she
got
Nah, we'll
his
just put her
work
down
on
there.
it.
That's
All
fine.
right.
And I said, I help you with the work, the office, I goof
Yep.
up everything,
Yep.
and it's,
Yep.
Well, that's
Very good.
awesome. Well, thank you very much, Mom. This has been a really, really special treat having you here.
Absolutely.
I think we certainly have more opportunity to hear more stories and look forward to that in the future. In the meantime, thank all of you for listening and watching, and we really appreciate you listening to us on all mediums that have our podcast presented. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, input, please call us when we look forward to answering you to the fullest of our ability. Thank you again for everything. And
Just one last comment. I would like to share a quote is behind every successful man is a surprised wife. Thank you.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Till
you.
next time.
Thank you very much.
Can I say something here?
Yep.
First of all, I want to thank all four of you and your family for being what you are and how you're doing here. I'm very proud of you. It's an honor. I came here. It's kind of touchy. It's nice, but I'm proud, very proud.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Very
Thank
cool.
you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
Yep. Till next time.